The title of this podcast is I Learned So Much from Winning, but even more from losing. This podcast title is inspired by a documentary that I recently watched on Amazon Prime about Jerry West. Jerry West is a Hall of Fame or was a Hall of Fame professional basketball player, and he was so gifted and so celebrated and noted for his accomplishments on the court that the logo that the National Basketball Association uses is in his likeness. They call him the logo. So it tells you a lot about what kind of athlete he must have been. He won at every stage of his basketball journey, from high school to college to the NBA. And while high school and college came easier for him, he made it to the championship game over nine times in nine seasons during his NBA career, but only winning one out of the nine. And it was that loss that tormented him. It was those losses that tormented him the most. Not the winning that stayed with him over his lifetime, but it was the losses in the biggest game or the last game of the season. And so when Jerry West talks about he learned more he learned a lot from winning, but more from losing, he refers to is how to be gracious in defeat, about how not to blame the referees for how the game played out or his opponents or his teammates in case they didn't play well or didn't play to the standards that they set for themselves or what the media might have thought about their play. What strikes me most about the documentary with Jerry West is how attached he was to winning. And that's the one thing that I think that I've learned about myself in losing. When I'm winning, I learn, I don't blame my teammates much, even if they play poorly to their standards or they abandon a game plan. I don't blame them a lot if we win. However, if we lose, I'm blaming them. Oh, where Keith 1.0 is blaming them a lot if we don't achieve the desired outcome, and in this case, winning. But that is a narrow definition of desirable outcome. I've since reframed that, and my desirable has nothing to do with outcome anymore. That's a bonus if it happens. But instead, what I'm desiring is was I in the present moment with every shot that I took, that I bring my best to the moment, that I get my sleep. Have I been working out? Have I practiced my footwork? Have I practiced the shots that I need to practice so they become automatic in a game situation? And even more importantly than that, have I gotten myself together before I even step on the court with the goal of being in the present moment on the court, not being attached to what happens when the ball leaves my paddle, and and foremost, being a great teammate. And so when I was winning, I cared about the shots, I cared about the placements, I cared about the outcome of the ball, but I really didn't pay a lot of attention about what kind of teammate I was being because it's easy to be a good teammate when you're winning. Yeah, I guess you could be a t bad teammate and take every shot, but let's say that you're being a decent teammate in which you're sharing the ball with your teammates. However, when I was losing, something exposed itself early on. One, I was intimately attached to outcome and winning. If my partner made a mistake, I amplified the mistake, both in what I said verbally, and if I didn't speak, it was written all over, or you can see it in my body language. I blame if I was playing pickleball and the ball trickled over the net, I blame the net that we lost that point and it prevented me from getting a good shot. Like you name it, I did it. And so I learned a lot about myself in in the losing outcome of things more so than I did in the winning. And I think life is very much that way. They talk about it all the time that you see the true measure of someone's character, not when things are going well, but when things are going poorly or are perceive or are progressing in a way that is not to your liking. And I think if you take a page out of Jerry West's documentary or his life journey, what you'll see is that it was that kind of approach is filled with suffering. And when I take an assessment or reflect on my own life, when I experienced the most suffering, it was not during the winning. Oh, there were some times where I thought that we won and I didn't play my best, but it was a little bit kind of tempered that we at least we won. But when it came to me losing, because I narrowly defined losing back then, when it came to that, the suffering was intense. And that is a hard way to move through life. So I hope as you continue on your life's journey, that you will take a look at how you define winning and define losing. Consider defining winning as giving your best and detaching from outcome. When it comes to losing, create a broader definition of losing. Not losing based on the outcome, but that you lose yourself in the moment, that you lose the present moment, that you were you a good teammate or a poor teammate? Were you encouraging or were you difficult to be around, to partner with? That you make the experience fun for your partner, that you pick them up when they were down, or that you amplify any mistake or error that you thought that they made. Well, that's one way to do it, but there's a different way. And the different way evolves, it does not produce any suffering. What it does is it produces an opportunity for you to practice these really healthy, open-hearted, loving behaviors that if practiced long enough, they become your default behavior. And that's the only way you show up on the court. And I played with a few people like that. My friend Dave is great like that on the court. Dave, you get on the court, well, he's like, next shot, let it go. It's okay. Oh, do you want to talk about what you did or what we can do differently? We can work on that later. Right now, just play loose, have fun. Every single shot, he's that way. And I love that because he works on himself with how he's going to show up as a good teammate. Now, it may be hard on himself, so that could use a little work, but he is really a great teammate. And that's something that I hope that I continue to make progress in. I mean, I guess we have to check back with the people that I played with to tell if that's true or not. But I encourage you to expand your definition of of losing and detach it from outcome and make it more about that you lose your ability to be your best self, to be the 2.0 version of yourself. And if you've done that, acknowledge it and then make a commitment to come back and work on that the next time.